Eddie's Garden and How to Make Things Grow by Sarah Garland. Can I have a garden of my own? Said Eddie. OK, said Mum. And me, said Lily. Mum wrote a list and they went to the garden shop. They bought seeds and a bag of earth and some flower pots. Pots for me, said Lily. What makes plants grow? Asked Eddie. What makes you grow? Asked Mum. Food, said Eddie. Drink for me, said Lily. And that's just what plants like, said Mum. Food from the earth, rain to drink, air to breathe, and sun for light and warmth. Let's get digging, said Eddie. It was hard work digging up the grass and weeds, but the earth was rich and crumbly and full of worms. Stop that, cried Mum. Worms are good for the earth, but they're not good to eat. Worms for me, said Lily. Eddie raked the earth smooth, ready for the pea seeds. Mum showed Eddie how to scratch a line in the earth with a twig, and how to put the pea seeds in along the line, one at a time, and carefully cover them up. They collected some long sticks and Mum pushed them into the ground. This can be a hideout for you and Lily, she said. Bean plants will grow right up the sticks to make you a bean den. She dug a hole beside each stick and Eddie dropped a bean into every hole and filled each hole with earth. Eddie watered all the seeds with his watering can. Water me, said Lily. No, don't, said Mum. When Eddie went to bed that night, Mum read him a story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Eddie thought about his bean plants growing up into the sky and how he would like to be like Jack and climb up the beanstalk higher and higher until he could touch the clouds. Next morning, Eddie wanted to sow more seeds. Let's put some of these in pots, said Mum. Then we can look after them more easily. So they collected flower pots, seed trays, yoghurt pots, an oil can and one old boot and filled them with earth from the bag. Eddie watered the earth until it was soaking wet. Then they chose their seeds, sunflower and marigold seeds, nasturtiums and broccoli, purple chard and sweet corn, and a pumpkin for Lily. They put in their seeds carefully and covered them up with earth. Pumpkin for me, said Lily, and she dug up her pumpkin seed to see whether it had grown. Put it back, Lily. It doesn't grow that fast, said Eddie. Days passed. The rain rained and the sun shone warm. Every day Eddie and Lily looked to see whether their seeds had sprouted. At last a strong green stem pushed out of the earth. It was Lily's pumpkin plant. It straightened up and opened 2 leaves. Like me, said Lily. Soon all the leaves were sprouting. Eddie worked hard in his garden. He watered the plants when they were dry and he pulled up the weeds. When Lily's pumpkin plant grew too big for its pot, he showed her how to dig a hole in the garden to plant it in, so its roots would go down deep into the ground. Hey, Lily, maybe that hole's a bit too big, said Eddie. Then he dug a hole for his sunflower plant right in the middle of the garden. As the weeks went by, it grew as high as Eddie. Then even higher and higher still, until a fat bud grew at the top, which opened out into an enormous yellow sunflower. Grandad came round. He was so surprised he had to sit down. Wow, Eddie, your garden's amazing, he said. They walked around the garden together. "Do you know what, Grandad?" said Eddie. "Some caterpillars eat lettuces, but birds eat caterpillars. And some bugs eat leaves and flowers, but ladybirds and hoverflies eat the bugs. And bees make honey for flowers, and we like eating honey." "Worms for me," said Lily. "Well, worms mix the earth up, and that's good for plants," said Grandad. Eddie found a slug. "Oh dear," said Grandad. "Slugs eat up plants in the garden, especially at night." "Uh-oh," said Eddie. That night, Eddie couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about slugs munching and crunching in his garden. He went downstairs in his pyjamas. "What's up, Eddie?" called Mum. "I'm going on a slug hunt," said Eddie. "Wait for me," said Mum. By torchlight and moonlight, they soon found 16 slugs that were eating up Eddie's plants. They put them in a bucket for Mum to throw away and went back upstairs. "That was a brilliant idea, Eddie," said Mum as she kissed him good night. The next day was fine and sunny, perfect for a picnic. Eddie, Lily and Mum went out into the garden and picked peas and carrots and lettuces, sweet corn and a big pumpkin. Mum cut the pumpkin up. "We'll keep some of these seeds to grow next year," she said. Eddie rolled out pastry for a pumpkin pie. "Peas for me," said Lily. Out in Eddie's garden, birds ate sunflower seeds, bees and butterflies drank nectar from the flowers, and creepy crawlies were busy in the earth. Eddie, Lily, Mum and Grandad ate their picnic. It was the best ever. After the picnic, Eddie and Lily sat in the bean den. "Which do you like best, Lily, worms or beans?" asked Eddie. "Beans for me," said Lily. The end.